he might just look around. And yep, start with the second match today. It's going to be actually the match that was played earlier. And it's going to be between GrandMonster and Barak. So this is going to be... I'm not sure whose home map this is going to be. I'll be halfway thinking it's going to be Poseidon's, therefore Barak's home map. Kinda makes sense that he will be picking the water map. And the gods, well, definitely two aggressive ones and a pretty good clash that I'm curious how it's gonna play out on a map like this. So let's just play and see how the players do. Well, of course, we're going to be having a bit of a fog of war at the start because we are going to be just checking the recorded game in here. And how's it gonna look? Well, he's gonna be casting the Thor gold mine at the very start, which is something that you see basically in every Thor game. And he's having pretty nice town center at the back that he already knows about. And otherwise, not many piggies, just the two, apparently. Some extra chickens, and he doesn't have the boars, it seems like. Otherwise, maybe they are somewhere hidden. So far, I don't really think so, as he's moving with the Ulfsark into the middle. And going to be building Drog in a pretty good spot, as it seems like the spawn is not half bad. In the meantime, let's just switch into Barak, who is in basically the same position in the middle of the map, also having quite a nice spot for the fishies in there, as we are going to be looking at basically the very same TC at the very corner of the map. So it's absolutely the same for both players. They really cannot complain about anything like that, or about anything at all with that, as he has cast the lure next to, of course, how is it called? Granary. He's having the piggies in there, which probably means that his opponent is gonna be having piggies as well somewhere, right? Ah yeah, they're actually hidden in the back. Yeah, he hasn't seen them. They're unfortunately for him in the darkness, but they are there if he needs them. And the water seems to be spawned quite alright, a bit more to the right as far as GrandMonster goes, but it's not really anything major, because the waters in 1v1 in the original vanilla are apparently, as you can see, not really that huge. And that means that the efficiency is not really going to be that struggling for him. In the meantime, of course, Barak should be getting a whole lot more piggies, because he is the one who does have Kataskopos, the fastest scout overall. And something interesting about the map, for example, right now, let's check the gold placements. On the right, there is actually plenty of gold mines. 1, 2, 3, and 4. At the very bottom, that's interesting, whereas on the left we are having just 3. So it's almost looking like, especially with the positioning of the TC for red, he very well might be kind of looking to get into the right side and basically for the golds as well. I'm not exactly sure how much he has scouted there. So far, I think he has been scouted just on the left, right? Yes, he has absolutely no idea that on the right side he has a TC and whatnot. So he is basically right now knowing about the golds on the left and whatnot. And apparently the lion is gonna be lured. Come on, guys. We are having a lot of deer in here that you can still control. And of course, the TC at the top for GrandMonster is not really bad either. So both TCs quite alright. I don't really see any problem with this map. So it's a nice spawn for all of them. Let's check, for example. This is a pretty steep hill, to be honest. Let's check the relic. This is a relic for the Tower of Cestus. Yeah, it seems like that in the recorded games, actually, my extra information doesn't work all that much. Ah, here, it's gonna be working at least when you click into them, so that's better tower ranged. And melee attack. That's a pretty good relic, actually, against aggression. And the one at the top is the nose of the Sphinx. That's more hit points for buildings, right? Yes. Man, I even remember it by the name. Well, that's probably the very first one for me that I ever remembered like that. Anyway, he's already coming for the temple right now, Barak. That's going to be advance, not bad one actually. It might be advance about 430 if everything goes well. Should be pretty decent, but his opponent is apparently aiming for something similar. Already has dropped the temple, so let's switch into GrandMonster. How is it looking for him? It's very close by to actually advance him. So yep, he is most definitely aiming for also advancing quite fast, which is something that, to be honest, in original vanilla, those 15 years ago, or how much is it? Yeah, almost 15 years. It didn't really happen all that much. Basically, the basic build order back then was about advancing like 515, 530. That's what was usual as far as coming in. And it's going to be a whole lot sooner. Yeah, you can see that's going to be about 430, as I said, and Barak probably, well, apparently a bit later. Oh, a lot later. You can see his economy. He's having just 150 food at this stage. He's not even ready for actually advance, as he's still luring some extra deer next to the lure. That's okay for him, but he's going to be way too late. That's going to be making the game very easy for GrandMonster overall, I'm thinking. That shouldn't be really that hard to actually overcome. In the meantime, the economies are all across the place. And there's also a bit of scouting by the hippocampus. Not the part of the brain, but this guy, after which it is actually named. And of course the second dock is going to be coming next to the fishies to make them a bit more efficient. That's a pretty good idea. Okay, it seems like that basically second dock for Barak is going for the same spot. Kinda interesting, would be maybe thinking, looking at the spawn of the fishies, he might be wanting to go to the left a bit more. Especially since he has scouted the fishies there as well, but he probably saw the right side a bit sooner, so he's not really that into that. With, of course, Usar coming forward, and Berek still in the arcade cage, just now going to be advancing. So there's going to be about 540, and that's much more like it, to be honest, like the olden times. It's not really 545, wasn't that late advanced back then. But yeah, today, unfortunately against GrandMonster, who advanced like minute and a half before him, that is going to be pretty bad, because that's going to be one water for GrandMonster without basically much of a chance for Berek to come back, to be honest. Because of course in vanilla dogs don't shoot as in AOT. So the defense is not really going to be present anymore, and that's potentially going to be leaving only the opportunity for Barak to basically attack through the land. But since the water is going to be fairly not hard for GrandMonster, I'm kind of thinking he might even be the one to attack first through the land as well. We can see already annoying the opponent. Prevented the third dock, and going to be killing this girl as well. Oh, of course, Usark probably might be dropping even a longhouse already. Not exactly sure, but he definitely could. Just now going to be scouting into the enemy base, trying to look what's there. And what is there is actually this deer, which I think was actually kind of halfway into the lure before it got destroyed. It's kind of weird. It usually shouldn't happen, but I don't really see any other explanation. Well, for a deer to be so alone somewhere else. Maybe some weird spawn of this spot, or rather of this patch. Not sure. Maybe, could have happened, but at any rate. The water, as expected, only the hippocampus is going to be staying there, as the longbows are already killing absolutely everything, with Berek dropping already actually archery range. Dimes too. Okay, so he's probably going to be really hoping for some land aggression, but of course the opponent is already switching as well, with longhouses, both of them, and he is going to be trying to make sure that no extra hard battle is going to be coming for him as... Oh yeah, that's nice forest fire. Killed at least one villager, but plenty of them got actually pretty seriously damaged in there. So that wasn't bad cast at all. He was maybe trying to lure the... and rather push the villagers into the fire a bit, but it didn't really work out. Didn't really work out at all, as some triremes are coming out, and of course, since he is having just ceasefire, he cannot really use it in any kind of good manner. Of course, as a Zeus, he could be having the restoration, but still, he doesn't have enough boats for that, I think. Even with restoration, those 4 triremes wouldn't be enough against all those boats that actually his opponent is having. Well, let's look how actually much economy will he be able to kill. Right now, the fishing ships don't even have Poseidon, which I think at this stage they should be having, because of course right now GrandMonster should be full on realizing some time ago that he has won the water without all that much of an opposition. It's not really going to be hard for him. This is nicely played by Berek, trying to take all the time that he can absolutely get on this map to actually to get as much food economy going as possible. Nicely placed. Nicely played. And finally we see the Poseidon. Okay, so as you were talking about, it's exactly right now coming up. So far we don't really see all that much of an attempt by GrandMonster to do anything significant. I'm just gonna switch into him to see what his plan is. Right now not even making units, so I would be really thinking that he could be just advancing into the heroic age. Exactly, I think so. With the War 1 armory coming up, and only then doing something significant. As a Thor, he could be probably going for some, I don't know, raiding cavalry to start it with, and then some boars. That could be working for him. And, oh, that's probably going to be that. Let's, for example, check some extra upgrades. How's it looking? Where is some economy? Here I hear the dwarves working on the mine. That's going to be both of them, Hippos and Hendax, whereas his opponent is having hopefully both as well. But no, that's not really the case, and he's actually going to be advancing into heroic age as well. Well, he does have Poseidon, or rather, Poseidon does have Dionysus, so potentially that could be skills coming up. But you can see that the economy is absolutely in tatters. So even though he could be having the armory and thinking that Heroic Age would be a good idea, which it definitely would be, yeah, well, he doesn't have the resources for that, and he definitely won't be having them anytime soon, as he's working on actually bit of a wall out of the houses already, next to his home base. Which is a nice attempt, because he needs to somehow protect himself. He could have potentially used this tower and the storehouse already, but he's way too open in there, and considering that his opponent is already all across the place as well, going to be walling himself not to be surprised by anything at all. Yeah, well, you could be probably thinking some extra boats are still alive. Okay, the hippocampus still doing somersaults in the water in there. It's really looking pretty tough right now to deal with this situation for Barek, even though he's dropping down army. It's probably not going to be strong enough, because he will be expecting the Heroic Age from GrandMonster. He does have the resources already, and he's just now clicking into Skadi. Okay, so no boars. It's going to be Frost Giants for him and Frost. Yeah, apparently doesn't want... Well, it doesn't really matter. Either Frost or Flamey Weapons actually don't do a whole lot when you are against ceasefire. So it's not like it matters a whole lot as far as God power goes. So you probably just could have gone for the better units, which I think that actually Battle Boars are much better than Frost Giants. So he, well, thought he doesn't need them, as he's moving forward with the army, and probably will be setting himself up next to this town center. Yeah, you could have seen. You have seen the waypoint right here, next to the town center, so that's exactly where he's gonna go. Drop some few military buildings, and then hope that it's going to be enough. Which it probably will. Looking at even the boats right now getting annoying and killing a few units from Barrack. You can see the score about almost a double. So that's basically signaling how well off GrandMonster right about now is. Is he having at least medium infantry? No, he isn't. No other extra upgrades, but he's gonna be through Skadi, and he's gonna be dropping Ilford? No, TC. He's actually right off the bat, still at the TC. Looking at this economy, he's actually having tons of resources. 1100 food, 300 wood, and just 100 gold. The gold is a bit of a problem. Right now coming for the second TC as well. So he's gonna be at 3 fairly soonish, but he definitely needs some upgrades more, like shaft mine and whatnot, to get more gold and get more villages on the gold gathering overall. He's just not having enough, even though this is not how bad as right now. Of course, he's gonna research the wood, and so far still waiting for the gold, as there are a few idols that just finished with the boar, waiting for the last one. So this is finished. This is finished just about now, so he potentially will be moving a bit forward, as on the left he has also finished with the walling, and he's going to be dropping a longhouse as well, just basically to make sure that he's not surprised by anything at all. And well, the noose is going to be closing around Barak's throat, as of course he does have just one TC left at the back. He has already a research tower, so potentially that is one last line of defense for him, and he even has some kind of idea about water. Yeah, well, why not? Because he's gonna be clicking into the Dionysus, it seems like, looking at the resources. Yeah, he definitely will be clicking into Dionysus, and that's the reason for the dog. Oh, I'm wrong actually. I was fully expecting that he's gonna go for Poseidon. Or, goddamn it, I just confused those two the whole game. Into Dionysus, and he will be trying to retake the water. Well, he doesn't, and in that case, to be honest, I really think that Dionysus is better against Norse, because Hydras are better against Norse, are actually pretty good against Norse. Oh, those guys are gonna die, because they unfortunately have a very long way to retreat. So, how's it gonna actually finish here? Well, on the left, he's going to be trying to counter with wall, which is definitely gonna be a bit too slow. As apparently, yeah, those guys are probably gonna be noticing them, even though I'm not all that sure. Let's switch to GrandMonster. Oh man, yeah, he's gonna see it. If he notices though, because he's probably going to be also consumed with the army on the right. Right now he's looking there, rather than anywhere else, as he's controlling basically the whole shoreline. Move it still forward, trying to actually even quick wall himself, so that he can even escape from potential problems that might be coming in. Yeah, right now he's going to be also dropping a wall at the bottom. Those poor guys are just basically dead meat and not gonna survive at all. But those top swords, that's not a bad unit at all, considering that there are plenty of throwing axemen and not really enough horses. The horses are somewhere else. Just some Huskars are finally coming in as heavy. Heavy infantry is of course pretty good upgrade with the baseline almost finishing there. As on the left, well, yeah, this isn't finished as opposed to what I thought. Actually, Barek did notice this himself and he was sending some hoplets in there to get rid of all of this, and of course that will mean that this side build is not gonna work, but I'm kind of fairly certain that the build on the right side is going to be a whole lot better and to be a bit more important in the game to come. In the meantime, of course, there are even Hippicons coming into the mix. So right about now, the Zeus, not Zeus, Poseidon is also making basically all units that he can. Could be using a few upgrades. Unfortunately, that's not really on the menu apparently today. But yeah, those villages, as I said, they are toast. They did manage to build archery range, but of course that's not gonna do a whole lot, as those heavy raiders with the baseline of upgrades and heavy throwing axemen already are going to be pretty annoying. And I wouldn't be surprised if some more surprises will come in their way. He should definitely be moving those villages somewhere else, because this is gonna become a battlefield. Be coming, for example, here for a bit more safety, as he's switching also into farms. But he is also fighting on the water, trying to make some kind of comeback, which is why I was kind of confused why he didn't go into Dionysus, because that to me making a whole lot of more sense with the skills and whatnot. But right now he's just gonna get killed because those dragon ships are good against arrow ships, and he's unfortunately not picking up the counters. But anyway, let's go back to the main battlefield. If there's gonna be usage of frost, I don't really think so, but apparently yes. I kind of think he could have cast a bit more to the left to basically catch just the archers. He kind of wants to get rid of the other army. He doesn't want to be spending too much time on it, and then when he gets rid of them, he can just go straight into the economy, get rid of the towers, and then deal with the units. And he opted for a bit different approach, and even Prodromos is making an appearance in here. Oh well. Well, that's that. Anyway, there is another simultaneous push from the left side, where unfortunately Barek, he is hopeless that he was having there weren't enough to actually stand the pressure. And all the Ulfsarks are already moving forward with more longhouses and whatnot, and they are definitely doing a good job of right now denying the economy to Barek, and Barek is right now in a very tough situation as he doesn't have enough on the right, because of course he's frozen in there, not really for much longer, but much more importantly on the left he has absolutely nothing, which will result quite inevitably into a very tough situation to come back from. He's still at 1 TC, GrandMonster is already at 3, but he's going to be capturing the 4th. And now the heavy Ulfsark is just going to be working on it all alone, poor guy. But there's a bit of a push forward, but of course with the Hill Fort and the 45 TC, it's not really anything that should be worrying GrandMonster, as he basically can concentrate on the push from the left and pushing forward into the economy and just getting rid of the backbone of the gameplay that Barek so far was having. Alright, so that seems like a pretty impossible situation right about now for Barek, with the Hippocampus still chilling there from the very start of the game, from when the rock was built. As the villages are getting killed absolutely everywhere. As on the right, it seems like that the last units are also dying for Barek, and the reinforcements, of course, from the military buildings of GrandMonster, who is coming in even into Tyr. Just now going to be clicking in and casting the Fimbulwinter, of course, as fast as he advances, and that will result in the GG exactly as the Fimbulwinter is cast. So that's basically like casting Ceasefire into Ancestors. Good job, Barak, with this design. Good job. Not even getting to see the animations for the God Power. That's nicely played. Even some first snowflakes, but that's about it. Okay, well, let's check the post game in here. In the first game between GrandMonster and Barek, and GrandMonster is of course going to be winning everything. There's not much of a doubt about that. But Barek did what he could. He even came back into the water, but unfortunately, GrandMonster was just already way too much ahead of him. And you can see the economy is just in another universe in here. And with that, it's not that hard to be winning games. He was just running away from him from the very start, from the advances into the classical ages. Alright, GG.